is happening, people? Hey, first fish of the morning. He's kind of small. We're gonna throw him back. Anyway, we're back at the lake today. Today is April 1st and it is cold. You can see I got my thick bibs on this morning. I think it was 45 degrees. We had a huge low pressure just went over. A lot of rain. Just come back from the upper end of the lake. We went up there to do the same thing where we have been catching fish, and all that fresh water muddied the water up, dropped the water temps down to about 56 degrees. So that's about a 4-degree temperature drop in the upper end. So on this particular lake, which is Hyco Lake, located in the Piedmont, North Carolina, so certain parts of the lake will be 3 to 5 degrees warmer on one section of the lake than it is on another section. So what we've done, we've dropped back down the lake probably about 3 miles, and we came into one of these coves, and I found this tree in the back that you'll see here in a minute. We just caught a fish off of it, off the end. Not sure, you're getting ready to see whether they up in the tree or backed off. Temps in this cove is 59 degrees, which is about 3 degrees warmer than it was on the upper end. Water stained, it looks good. I like this color water. So hey, let's go catch a fish. Fish right there. It looks like he's a little bit small. He is a lot small. So for this color water, we have chosen the old ghost with the chartreuse tail, with the minnow colored head. I'll probably switch to a black head here in just a few minutes. The minnow colored head was actually tied on the rod when I pulled it out of the rod box this morning. Now what we have here is, looks like there's an old pine laying here. There's a big one set up just behind me here. There's a big one laying here. There's another one over there, another one here. So there's a lot of structure for these fish to spawn around. So I'm gonna just probe around this tree a little bit. I'm gonna allow that lure straight down into the water. Just probe around. There he is. Oh, that's a good one right there. Oh yeah. Good crappie. Good crappie. Swing him in the boat. It's about 9.5. I'm gonna let him go. He's about 9.5. And so a lot of times these crappie will stage just off 4 to 5 feet of water out in front of the structure, and so not necessarily they may be right up here against the bank, especially since we had the rain and the temperature drop that we just had. Oh, that's a good crappie. Good crappie. That is a big crappie right there. Oh yeah. Nice crappie. Wow. Yeah. She is a big, that is a big crappie. That is a big crappie. Now we're gonna measure that crappie. That crappie is almost 13 inches. Good crappie. This weather, this low pressure that just went over has really affected the bite. been getting some hits, but they're not really taking. So we just caught that one really nice crappie. The fish was actually laying on a little log laying under the water that I didn't see, and she came off of that. So this is a main cove going in. The main cove is out behind you, and out behind the boat. And this is just what I call a pocket. What you can see behind me. I'll turn the camera. What you can see behind me is like a pocket. We got some logs laying in the water underneath there, and this is off of a main cove. So there's a pretty good sized branch coming in. So the water's about 16, 18 feet out there. This is a pocket, and this is also a good place for crappies to come in and spawn, because it's just a short distance. And actually that big crappie was laying out right out on this little point here, kind of like a bass does, stages out on the point. And these crappies can come out of this deep water, transition, and come right in these shallows. And I've came to this side of the cove, and I'm gonna work it across, not moving the trolling motor. And then I'm gonna go out in the center of it. I'm sure it's pretty shallow in there, so let's go see if we can catch a fish. Male. Oh yeah. Good crappie. Now that is a male black crappie. See how dark he is? So basically what I'm doing is fishing this little point. That crappie just came off of this corner, so I call it like a secondary point. And I guess he's just staged out here in deeper water. He's about 5 foot deep. Here's like a small one sitting out on that corner. Yeah. A little small crappie. Now it's very important. Now I fished the back of that pocket that you see right in front of me. And that is where normally I would probably be catching crappies now, but because of the temperature change, and I've caught 2 crappie out on this little secondary point, one on one side, one on the other. Now I'm gonna be sure that I fish around this little point. See how right straight out in front of the rod it makes a little point? And I'm gonna be sure I take my time and fish across this front to see if any more fish have transitioned out here on this front side. Right there. Feels like a small one. Yep, a little small one. One up here. Little bitty one. I give him one thing, he tried to eat it. There he is. Oh, that's a good one. That's a nice one right here. Laying out there on that point. Good crappie. Another black crappie. Another old black crappie. Pretty crappie. Yeah, pretty crappie. He'd be 10 inches. Nice crappie. Let's see if we can catch another one off of that. So it looks like This point you see up behind me, this point we on now, it seems like the fish have transitioned out of these pockets. And they're sitting out a little bit deeper on these deeper bank lines. And so we just caught that other fish just then. And so we're gonna stay. There's a lot of brush out in the water here. And we've got on this, it's a lot of trees leaning out over this deeper water here. So we're gonna fish along this bank line. Notice how the wind is blowing down this bank line pretty hard, which pushes bait fish. And I've came back up, I've turned the boat around so I can actually control the boat into the wind, put the nose of the boat into the wind and control it a little better. So there's a fish right there. And, so he's just a little fella. And so we started this morning out, went to the upper end, done what we normally were doing for the last couple of weeks, and we wasn't being productive. And actually I think it quit raining about 5 o'clock this morning. So I started coming back down the lake looking for some warmer water temperatures and some water that didn't have that influx of fresh muddy water. And we start picking up some crappie on some secondary points back in the coves. And we had a lot of success doing that this morning. I think we wound up catching 15 to 20 crappie in the last couple of hours. And so I came further down the lake back in this cove. You can see all these houses behind me. And we found some 61-degree water back in here. Water's much clearer in here. And I've managed to, there's not a lot of structure on the bank. And some underwater stumps in these coves. So I've managed to pick up a few crappie on those coves. So anyway, just remember that if you're catching fish in a certain area, you have a temperature change, the water temperature drops out, you go back to those areas and not being productive, start looking around. Be versatile when you're out fishing and adapt to the changes. The biggest thing I noticed, that fish are not aggressive. They're hitting at the lure but not actually taking the lure. So those are tough days to actually fish when fish are not as aggressive. And I've actually seen today a couple of fish come up and actually hit at the lure and just hit at the lure and turn and go back. So fish just not aggressive. So on days like this, be versatile, look for some warmer water, look for some clear water, just search around. That's basically what I've been doing today, is just searching around the lake looking for some fish that want to bite. Anyway, hey guys, I hope you've seen something in the video you liked and you enjoyed. Hey, thanks for watching. And hey, remember, it's a wildlife, and I'll see you on the water.